So hello everyone, this is Yuchen Lin and I'm going to talk about my Sprint 2. So basically my Sprint 2 includes three parts. First, I'm designing a database to store chat history for different threads. And second, I create a front-end view to display the contact list and the chat room. And the third one is I created the back-end service to handle the chat business logic. So basically, so far I have already finished the database part and already partially finished the front-end part and have this search user logic being done, but these two parts still in progress. So the most interesting thing is how I design a database to store the chat history, and I want to explore further in this part. Okay, so by storing chat history, I was using the Cassandra. So here's interesting. Why I choose Cassandra? Because for my business requirements, I need fast write and fast read. So the fast write means so all messages are written heavy text, and every second there will be multiple writes happenings. And also I need flexible schema, which the data store around the query pattern to enable fast retrievals. And the third thing in my database design is that I didn't need any transactional requirements. Okay, so that's why I'm choosing Cassandra, and I'm going to talk deeper on how my Cassandra database got designed. Okay, so let me start with this user. Sorry. Let me start with this user thread. Okay, and for user threads, let me show you the structures. So for user thread, I'm first going to introduce the user ID, which I use as the partition IDs. So basically for Cassandra, we need to have the partition ID, partition key and the cluster entities. And cluster key is used to do the sorting. So for this table, I put the cluster key as the updated as. So this updated as will be in descending order. So most recent updated will show on the top of my chat. And for other columns, I have the unread count, thread name, thread ID, last message, and Avenda. Okay, for this is my user thread. To have a better understanding, I'll show you what a user thread looks in my chat. So user threads will basically in this part. So whenever you log in, you will fetch all the user thread and display it here. Okay. And the second part is thread. So for thread, I have this thread ID as partition keys. And for this thread, I have the thread name. And I have a list of partitions that included. And for last message of the thread, and what's the time of this thread being created. And to have a view of this thread, it will be this part. So it's showing all the message for this particular thread. Okay, and the next part is messaging. Okay, for messaging, for each message, I have the partition key as thread ID. So I'm going to look for whenever I want to retrieve this message, I just need to look for this thread ID, which is retrieved in this part. Okay, and for messaging ID, I put it as a cluster key, which is sorted in a descending order. Most interesting here is the data type. So I use the time UUID here to ensure this messaging is unique. So for example, if I set the time, if two persons send the message at the same time, if I using the timestamp, it may have the duplicates. So it will be override with each other. They didn't know which one to be put in the first. Okay, but if I use the user UUID, a time UUID, you are definitely ensure that there is a message on the top of another one. And then I have the created ad as a content, just like each of the message. And fourth table is the partition hash code. So basically, this partition key for this table is the partition hash. And if I want to search, this table is used for me to fetch whether there's any threads this partitions is participated in. So whenever I search user ID, I can fetch all the threads ID that this partition is in. That's basically my design of database. Okay, and I want to show you. Also, I have this search friend function being done, and for this burn down for my Trello, like I have 6 out of 13 card being completed. I have half of the time being completed. I have 9 days worked. It's just my burn down. Okay, and I want to show you what I have here. So this is basically what I log in. Okay, I am going to show you. Here is my login page, and I have ABC. This is my user ID, and I log in. It takes a while. Okay, so after logging, it shows the chat. And here is all the threads, user threads I can get from the user thread tables. And for each of those, I have this, sorry, this is just a template for now, but that's what I'm designing. And this part is the threads. And the function I have been achieved is I can search persons. I can search my friends. So if the current user is ABC, right? So if I type ABC, there's no user found. But if we type is DEF, I have a user found here. And this search is case sensitive, so it will be like fully matched with this username. Okay, that's all I have for this sprint, and I still need to finish up with the UI and finish up this with the backend. Thank you.